so many, and the reason why I talk about it in that way is because so many people say I, had the experience with God or angels or however they, that's how we hear about those experiences a lot. And because of that, I know what I know now. And there is a knowing that I have from that experience and that process of crossing over and where I went and all of that. Um, but what it caused me to do is just kind of starting to say yes, and to maybe now in retrospect, I would call it a bit of an ego death, because I was pretty tightly wound and pretty closed up. And from that experience, that is where I did say yes to starting to work with Coleen. um, and it was more on a part-time basis, as I was supporting myself also as an artist. And then it was a couple of years later that I started working full-time with Reiki Lifestyle. And I know that that process, even though in the moment I wasn't super, super conscious of it, I know that that process is what led me to all of this, because it did lead me to just say, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm saying yes, and a level of trust with that. And then from there, everything else unfolded. And again, that openness that came from that experience, a knowing of what that place is, came from that experience. And I do think that all of my future self, Reiki, the divine, however you want to describe that, came through in that time frame and led me to all of the unfolding that came from there, and working and returning to Reiki, because I had diverted from it for a good amount of time while I was in my culturally created self. So
Wow.
so yeah, it did actually lead me back. It just wasn't like okay, this happened and now I know. It was a little bit more of a slow unfolding. And I like to share about that part because I don't know, maybe it's just not talked about, but you don't hear about that as a common experience after a near death experience. But it was that changed me.